I'm Nate Axelrod. I'm the assistant men's basketball coach at Ohio Wesleyan University. I graduated from Ohio Wesleyan University in 2018. I was the D3 Hoops National Player of the Year, Jostens Trophy winner, 3-time All-American, 2-time Academic All-American. Obviously, basketball played a huge role in shaping my college experience, and especially at a smaller school like Ohio Wesleyan. You know, everyone knows you're a basketball player. I would have professors email me after every single game, which was fun, except for after the games we'd lose. But it was just really cool to see the community support and have professors actually know who you are and what you're interested in outside of the classroom. And then also we would do stuff with like big brothers, big sisters in Delaware, Ohio. So, you know, once a week we'd go to an elementary school, play games with kids, help them with homework. But I think a lot of it just being a basketball player in that small environment, you know, people know who you are, and, you know, it's really cool to see the support you get. I wasn't like heavily recruited. I narrowed my list down to about 4 schools. I started hearing from coaches and getting calls and texts about August of my going into my senior year. And I knew I prioritized all my stuff really well at the beginning. I knew I wanted to stay close to home because my family was important. I wanted them to be at all the games. I wanted to be at a winning program. That was another big thing. And then I just wanted to find a school that seemed like a good fit for me. And you know, at least the moment where things like clicked for me is when I went on visits. I started going on visits about September of that same year, and you know, I visited a couple schools. Then OWU was my 3rd visit, and like I fell in love with the campus. I knew a few guys who had played there before. The style of play fit how I played. You know, Coach DeWitt has been there 20 years. He gives the point guard a ton of responsibility, lets you handle the ball and make plays, and he trusts you. And I think I just fell in love with the campus once I got there. It felt, you know, it felt like a home away from home. And then once I got to school there, I realized that, you know, I grew up 20 minutes away from OWU, and I rarely went home. You know, I stayed on campus pretty much the entire 4 years. I would go home maybe once or twice a semester, just for a dinner or something. But, you know, the campus and the atmosphere just felt like the right fit for me. So my freshman year, I think it was my 3rd and 4th game we played in a classic up at Calvin. And Calvin was preseason ranked number 6 in the country. And it was my 3rd game starting as a freshman point guard, and they were a really big team, and I was a small guard, so it didn't seem like it was a great matchup for me. And we came out just hot out of the gates, and we ended up beating them by about 20. And I finished with like 12 points, 11 assists. I was really proud of myself at that moment, and for our team too, because, you know, that's a big test early in the season, and we came out on top. Sophomore season, we made it to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. We lost to Benedictine out in Chicago, but I had like a breakout game, had like 27, and it felt like things were clicking for me at that moment. And for our team, you know, that we made it as far as we had in 8 years, so it was great to make it that far. My junior season, we won 14 games in a row, and clinched our 3rd straight NCAC championship, which was awesome. And then my senior year, my 2 favorite memories my senior year were we played Worcester in the semifinals of the NCAC tournament, and I actually played terrible the entire game, but my teammate, Seth Clark, he had 44 points, hit 11 threes, was on fire. And he carried us the whole way, and then it got to about 30 seconds left and we were down 3, and I drove and made a play, got the game tying and won to send it to overtime, and then had a game winner in overtime with 4 seconds left. And then also winning the Jostens Trophy was just an incredible experience. I was scrolling through Twitter one day and saw that there was a coaching job opening at Oberlin College, which is up by Cleveland. It's in the same conference as Ohio Wesleyan. So I just emailed Isaiah Cavaco, their head coach, and we set up a time to talk on the phone. And he actually hired me and a Worcester graduate, Jalen Goodwin, to come in at the same time and be assistant coaches up there. And honestly, finding a job's a lot like getting recruited. The whole recruiting process, you have to be proactive with it and just reach out to people. And I really enjoyed it. Isaiah is a great basketball mind. He's really smart and good with X's and O's. I definitely learned a ton up there. And then after that season, Andy Winters, an Ohio Wesleyan graduate, got a head coaching job at Otterbein, which is in Columbus, which is where I'm from originally. And he called me up and asked if I wanted to be a graduate assistant there. And I was like, yes, I'd love to move back to Columbus and be there. And I was there for about 5 months until October came around. And my old college assistant, who was at Ohio Wesleyan at the time, Nate Conley, he got a head coaching job at Manchester University in Fort Wayne a week before the season started, which props to him, because that's a tough job to jump into right before the season started. And Coach DeWitt, our head coach at Ohio Wesleyan, the guy I played for, he kept me in the loop throughout the whole thing and said, hey, this might be happening, just be prepared if he does accept this, if Coach Conley accepts this coaching job. And if he does, I'd love to have you back at OWU. And that was like a no-brainer decision to come back and coach at Ohio Wesleyan. And I've definitely enjoyed it. I actually think the landscape of recruiting has changed significantly, even since when I was being recruited as a player, and that was about 6 years ago. So I think just with the amount of information that gets spread online now, players can send their highlight tapes through Twitter. They can have them pinned on their page. It's really easy for coaches to access that information now. But at the same time, with COVID going on, I feel bad for the high school seniors, or seniors to be, who are missing out potentially on their last AAU season. But it's really interesting to see just tournaments being streamed online now, and all that stuff. It is still difficult because, as a coach, I like seeing players play in person. You can see more details and you can hear them talk on the court and how they interact with their teammates. But at the same time, everyone's adjusting to it. So it's not like you're in your own boat. Everyone's in the same boat. It's just a matter of, adjusting your recruiting style to, seeing that information online rather than in person. It does make the vetting process a little bit tougher, and just in terms of seeing, the players that will fit best for you. Just some stuff I usually tell prospective student athletes that, for any sport, I think when you're emailing and researching, be thorough, do good research, make sure you're looking over your emails. You'd be surprised at the amount of times I get emails and my last name is spelled wrong, or the kid writes the wrong school name in it, and just make things personal too, or personable, because coaches can tell when kids send out mass emails and just fill in the blank what the school name is. Say something about the school. Show something that you actually did your research and looked into the school. And stuff I tell our guys is, a few things I'm big on is just, to be successful at any level of basketball, you have to sacrifice some things, whether it's time, money, a social life. You're going to have to give up something if you want to be really good or you want to be great at something. So, prioritize the things in your life and the things that, conflict in the way with either school or basketball. You cut those out, right? Make sure you're focused on those top priorities and you're doing everything you can to make those great. The best advice I can give is just be proactive. If you're in the process of being recruited, if you send an email and a coach doesn't respond right away, shoot another email. The chances of him responding will be higher. Especially during the season, coaches are busy with their seasons too. So just be proactive. Also do your research. Make sure you're looking at schools that will be good fits for you, both academically and in terms of a basketball standpoint. Just try to find somewhere where you think it'll fit your player style and where you can reach your full potential. So when I was getting recruited by Ohio Wesleyan, the first time I met Coach DeWitt was on the visit. I met him in his office, and he really reminded me of my high school coach, just in terms of how laid back he was, but how focused he was too. He, so actually an older point guard from my high school played at Ohio Wesleyan, and we were talking about him, so I knew what he was like already. But it was great to see our relationship build over time. As a player, he was really hard on me, but at the same time, he was hard on me because he knew I could take being yelled at and all that stuff. And if one of your better players on your team is getting yelled at, it kind of sets a standard that your younger guys and the guys who don't play as much can relate to that as well. And he doesn't yell a whole lot. It was only when I would make bad passes and turn the ball over. But he pushed me, which was great, and he pushed me, but he gave me a lot of freedom as a player too. He would let me call plays. Obviously not right away, but I had to build that trust from him. And then just as the years went on, he stayed in touch with me when I was coaching up at Oberlin. He would check in and ask how things were going. And then, just coaching with him now, like I said, he gives me a ton of responsibility with recruiting and setting up the visits and, all that stuff. And I'm just really grateful for, everything he's done for me as a coach and a player in terms of reaching my full potential. So we're actually really fortunate. They planned to renovate our main gym, this spring, and it'll be done in the fall. And, with COVID, there's a lot of uncertainty whether it would happen or not, but we're really fortunate they were able to go ahead and start the process with it, and it will be done in October. So, we're really fortunate for our guys that we can get a new gym for them once the season starts. And also, in terms of goals for our team, we've been 12 and 14 each of the past 2 years. And, the 3 years or a few years before that, we won 3 conference titles in a row. So, our goals are to get back in competing for NCAC championships and making NCAA tournaments. I think we definitely can get there, though. I really like our core guys, and Grant Spicer, our 4-man, was the freshman of the year in the conference. We started Jack Clement, who was a freshman shooting guard, really good, has a ton of upside. I'm really excited for him. Nick Carlson, another stretch big man, actually went to the same high school I did, and I helped recruit him when I was a player at OU, and I've known him forever. So those guys have been working hard all off season. Curtis White, another point guard who missed this year due to hip surgery. We're excited. He started his freshman year and missed his sophomore year. So, I like the pieces we have. It's just a matter of we can build on that and, just keep improving every single day of practice and just get back to those NCAC championships.